Guys, this is Mr. Joshy J, and this is your review of the Portimao Grand Prix in Portugal. Now, all I can say is, what a very good race that was. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Brilliant race. I really hope we come back there again. But along the straights, DRS, very powerful, too powerful at times. So maybe if we do go back there again, they will hopefully make it shorter. But, I can't see F1 going back there again, to be honest. I just think it's a one-off, but really hope that track comes back on the calendar. I want some of these tracks to replace races like Singapore, Russia, and, just some races what I feel shouldn't be on the calendar. But anyway, this weekend, history was made. A new record was set by Lewis Hamilton, who wins his 92nd Grand Prix, is now the all-time record holder for the most wins in F1. Unbelievable. What a weekend. What a historic day for us Lewis Hamilton fans. For Lewis Hamilton to reach 92 wins. As I said before, I've been following Lewis Hamilton since the GP2 season in 2006 was the time I started following Lewis Hamilton. And that year, Michael Schumacher won the most races in F1. 91 victories. A couple of weeks ago, Hamilton equalled it. 2 weeks later, it beats it. Unbelievable. What an unbelievable driver. And I do believe he will announce his retirement after he's won 8 drivers' titles. Because with the cars not changing next year, I can see Mercedes easily winning an 8th driver's title and an 8th constructor's title. Well, the next race they could wrap up their 7th constructor's title, and in 2 races' time, Hamilton could be on the same number of drivers' titles as Michael Schumacher, 7. Right, so anyway, at the start of the race, Lewis Hamilton got off the line well, but then later on was struggling for grip, and then Carlos Sainz took the lead in the McLaren. How great was that to see a McLaren lead a Grand Prix? Wow, that's unbelievable. First of all, Bottas overtook Hamilton because Hamilton just didn't have the grip. Both the Mercedes really struggling for grip at the start of the race because it was raining a bit. Carlos Sainz on the soft tyres, the softs working very well, but obviously with the softs they burn out quickly. Despite Sainz leading, his tyres burnt out very quickly and started dropping back. But there's contact at the start between Perez and Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen very lucky not to damage his car. So Hamilton later on overtook Valtteri Bottas again for the lead. And then later on just absolutely dominated the Grand Prix. There was no stopping Lewis Hamilton. He finished 25 seconds ahead of Valtteri Bottas. Valtteri Bottas must have been mentally drained because he was fastest in every session. Fastest in FP1, fastest in FP2, FP3, Q1, Q2. And what does Hamilton do? Delivers a hammer blow to his teammate and gets pole position in Q3, which that was absolutely damaging for Valtteri Bottas, but still, great weekends for Valtteri Bottas, nevertheless. Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari, awful qualifying, but did score a point, so good to see both Ferraris in the points. So it's starting the weekend for me, has to be Charles Leclerc. Get onto the driver ratings a bit later, but absolutely fantastic weekend for the driver from Monaco, Charles Leclerc. Fantastic. Lando Norris was having a good race until Lance Stroll took him out. What an awful weekend for Lance Stroll. I think there's 3 drivers who are going to be getting zeros when I get to the driver ratings, and you're not in for a surprise which 3 drivers are. There's going to be a few 10s as well, because I think some drivers had very good weekends. Like Kimi Raikkonen just missed out on the points in the Alfa Romeo, was so close to finishing in the points. He made up so many positions at the start, dominated his teammate all weekend. George Russell in the Williams, he dominated Nicholas Latifi all weekend, and also made Q2 yet again. But there's talk of his seats being under threat. Absolutely criminal by the Williams team when that happens. If they get rid of George Russell, that is an absolute shambles to the name Williams Formula 1 team, and an utter disgrace and an embarrassment to the new owners, and also the Williams family would be furious if they let go of George Russell. Yep, so that'd be an absolute shambles if Russell gets the boot. Both the Haas drivers are leaving at the end of the season, Kevin Magnussen and Roman Grosjean. To me, I'm not surprised, because that team definitely needs freshening up. But, you know, a really good Grand Prix, really enjoyed it. So, right, let's get on to driver ratings and team ratings. Again, in no particular order. Right, so let's start off with Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton, 10 out of 10. Perfect weekend. Record-breaking 92 wins. Was under the cosh from his teammate Valtteri Bottas, and when it matters the most, pole position. Beats Bottas in Q3 to pole. Unbelievable weekend for Lewis Hamilton. Valtteri Bottas, 10. Really good weekend to him, even though he finished 25 seconds behind his teammate. But still, to be fastest in every session up until Q3 and P2 in the race, great weekend for Valtteri Bottas. I think that's the first time ever in my driver ratings I've awarded 10s from 2 drivers in the same team. Fantastic weekends for both Mercedes drivers. Red Bull, Max Verstappen, 9 out of 10. Again, on the podium, just going about his business. Obviously, in the moment, the Red Bull not good enough to keep up with the Mercedes. But again, a solid weekend for Max Verstappen. Give credit to him. Alexander Albon, 0 out of 10. What an absolute shambolic weekend for the Thai Brits. P6 in qualifying and P13 and 14 in the race. Laps by his teammate Max Verstappen. Surely that is the final straw for Alex Albon in the Red Bull A team. I mean, that is absolutely unacceptable to be lapped by your teammate who's in a competitive car. An awful weekend for Alexander Albon, and he definitely needs to be dropped. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Albon, lovely guy, but for Red Bull, a team who wants to compete with Mercedes in the constructors' titles, you cannot have your second driver getting laps. I'm sorry, Alex Albon, the time has come to drop him. Well, you can't really put Gasly back in the Red Bull now this weekend, because it'd be quick turnaround, because we're going straight to Imola this weekend, back-to-back races. So, yep, awful weekend for Alexander Albon. McLaren, Carlos Sainz, 8 out of 10. Fantastic qualifying and leading the race. But then, unfortunately, his super soft started to burn out. Well, not super softs, his soft tyres. Lando Norris, 7 out of 10. Was doing really well in the race, but he had his race ruined by Lance Stroll, who took him out. Unacceptable by Lance Stroll. We'll get on to his score in a minute. Renault, Daniel Ricciardo, 7 out of 10. Decent weekend for him. Crashed into the barriers in Q2, but kept it going, but damaged his rear wing, so that needed to be changed. Esteban Ocon, 8 out of 10. Outqualified his teammate and outraced him this weekend, so a really good weekend for Esteban Ocon. Racing points, Sergio Perez, 7 out of 10. Decent race for him. Really good weekends for Sergio Perez. Lance Stroll, 0 out of 10. Awful weekend for Lance Stroll. I mean, ruined Lando Norris's race. Absolutely nowhere in qualifying. Horrific weekend for Lance Stroll. That was really bad. Ferrari, Charles Leclerc, star in the weekend. 10 out of 10. P4 in qualifying, P4 in the race. Unbelievable weekends for Charles Leclerc. And that Ferrari is looking much better with them upgrades on the car. Sebastian Vettel, 4 out of 10. Got out-qualified by Charles Leclerc once again. P14 in qualifying. Got a point, so yeah, well done to Seb, but qualifying performances have been absolutely unacceptable for Sebastian Vettel. Awful weekend. Again, really, for Sebastian Vettel, but I gave him a 4 because he did get a point. So, AlphaTauri, Pierre Gasly, 10 out of 10. Again, to me, he is driver of the season and definitely should be given a second chance in the Red Bull A team, in my opinion. Can't do much worse than what Albon's doing at the moment. Danny Kvyat, 0. Awful weekend for Danny Kvyat. P19 in the race, outperformed by Gasly all weekend. Awful weekend for Danny Kvyat. Haas, Kevin Magnussen and Roman Grosjean both losing their drives in the end of the season. And I'm going to give them both a 1 out of 10. Awful weekend for them. P17 and P18 in the race. Bad weekend for their Haas team. Roman Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen both leaving Haas in the end of the season. As I said, I think it's the right decision because that team needs a freshen up. Alfa Romeo, Kimi Räikkönen, 8 out of 10. Unlucky to miss out on the points. P11 in the race. Made up so many positions at the start. Antonio Giovinazzi, 1 out of 10. Outperformed by Kimi Räikkönen all weekend. Not a good weekend for Antonio Giovinazzi. Williams, George Russell, 7 out of 10. Again, made Q2 and a decent race. Outperformed Latifi all weekend. Nicholas Latifi, 0 out of 10. Last in qualifying and last in the race. Unacceptable performance by Nicholas Latifi. Really under pressure. He should be the one who's under pressure, not George Russell in the Williams. George Russell is basically getting that team close to the points, and Williams really should be nowhere near the points because their car is shambolic. But Russell is doing what Leclerc is doing in the Ferrari, outperforming that car. So, right, team ratings. Mercedes, 10 out of 10. 1 and 2 in the race. Perfect weekend for them. Red Bull, great weekend for Max. Horror weekend for Albon. So, 6 out of 10. I'll give the Red Bull A team. Renault, decent weekend for them. So, 7 out of 10. McLaren, a 7 out of 10, really good in qualifying. Ferrari, both cars scored in the points, so 7 out of 10. Racing Point, again, I'll mark them down a bit because of Stroll, so a 6 out of 10 for Racing Point. AlphaTauri, Pierre Gasly had a great weekend, so 6 out of 10, but you have to mark them down a bit because Danny Kvyat's performance, not acceptable enough. So, right, Racing Point, as I said, a decent weekend for them, but because of Stroll's performances, you got to mark them down a bit. So, 5 out of 10. And for Haas, not a good weekend to them, so 2 out of 10 for the team ratings. Alfa Romeo, 5 out of 10. Great weekend to Raikkonen, but poor for Antonio Giovinazzi. And Williams in the team ratings, I'm going to give a 6 out of 10 because George Russell had a good weekend. So, right, that is all the teams done and driver ratings done. Yep, I think I went through every teams there. Renault, yep, I think I gave them a rating as well. So, join me for a preview later on in the week for the Imola Grand Prix. I'm looking forward to that one. San Marino, I used to love that circuit. So join me for a preview for that. And I'll be back later on tonight for my Manchester United and Red Bull Leipzig preview. Bye-bye.